Welcome to 155, a podcast about punk songs. I'm Sam Sutherland.
I'm just saying, why did you do the question? It was like...
Because I wanted to change it up a little bit.
It's like the thing where they put the question mark on Ron Burgundy's cue card has actually just naturally evolved into like a thing that would happen in a YouTube intro too, you know?
Right, yeah. Well, listen, like as a YouTuber, obviously Ron Burgundy is, an icon. The only comedy icon that I know.
Also, because it kind of makes sense with the song we're doing this week theoretically, if it was a YouTube video about breakcore and the artist Jason Forrest, it could theoretically open they're DJs, but are they also punk rockers? I'm Sam Sutherland. And you spin the intro.
It's true. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. You want to open with a question, hook the listener. Like, I'm sorry, DJs who are also punk? I think you can. We should not feel, stuck in the rut of those handful of opening words that it's important for people to know I cannot remember. Like before
we have to do severe media training, and the new method you don't necessarily see. Okay, here's the other thing, a little peek behind the curtain, and we're doing it different this week. We're doing the free part first, and then if you're a patron, you get to stick around. We're going to watch the Machine Gun Kelly movie together. This is going to be the longest Monday night ever, and we're both going to kind of pay the price for the rest of the week and probably fuck up our lives brutally. But it's going to be worth it. So patreon.com/155pod. But I was going to say, you don't know when I'm hitting record with the new method. And so what I did today to save in the editing is I did the thing from what I know from Wayne's World, what I think is a normal broadcasting thing, was I just went 3, 2, and then I was quiet. I felt so professional while I was doing that.
And I knew that you were doing the Wayne's World thing. I did the Wayne thing where I mouthed and counted and nodded my head.
You literally have been a real TV host before. Do you think of that as when you do that on MTV Canada, short-lived career on MTV Canada? If listeners remember the guy with the black metal shirts on MTV Canada.
Yeah, the person who wanted you to know that they had heard of bands before. Yeah.
Hey, that guy's clearly looked at Encyclopedia Metallum or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
But when you're on MTV Canada and they do that countdown, are you thinking, oh shit, it's the Wayne's World thing? Or are you thinking
all the time?
Broadcast school? Do they call it that in broadcast school?
The Wayne's World, yeah, everyone knows that's the Wayne's World method. When you drop the final thing and you nod your head, that's. I don't know what it was called before that, but yeah, it's one of those things. It's like Lou Gehrig's disease, you know.
Listen, we got to start.
I don't know what that is.
I think it's Lou Gehrig's disease. It's the disease that he had. We need to stop riffing. We're going to save the riffing for later in the paid section.
Yeah, that's right. No free riffing.
No free riffing. This week
only free punk lyrics.
This week we're going to talk about my 36 favorite punk songs by Jason Forrest. Sam, what's your history with this song?
So I first heard about this song around the time that a podcast that I had been hosting for about kind of, I guess, 3.5 years was winding down. And the host and I, this was like super focused on one band, kind of, extreme, trendy sort of project. And as we were kind of trying to formulate the notion of like a potential sort of future show, they brought up Jason Forrest. And so my co-host at the time, a real piece of work.
Really?
I'll tell you about them in the chat.
I hate hearing about the ones. I mean, it's nice to know the ones that came before you were the.
Right.
Now you've leveled up.
The ones who scarred me, yeah.
I'll handle
the ones who taught me pain in particular or whatever.
I'll handle you with care, my fragile friend.
Thank you. I am, and I appreciate that, and I believe you. So this other real fucking piece of shit.
So hang on, let's get to the point. Did you listen to it when I sent it to you way back when? Was that like a month ago or something?
No, I think the first time I heard this was 10 minutes ago. Yeah. So you were like, this is the kind of shit we can talk about on the show. And I was like, what? And then you sent it to me. But there was a lot happening in our lives at that time. So I did not.
Coronavirus.
I never listened to it. And I heard this for the first time truly 10 minutes ago because we are having dessert for breakfast here. And do you want to know what I think of it?
Sure, why not?
It's fucking insane. It's so cool. How do people do this?
I know, right? And
how is it even possible? It is like so punk.
It's so punk.
Both in like aesthetic, literally. And then also in the execution, especially and particularly as it sounds increasingly, less and less like a punk song. I just think it's like one of the comments, because this has like 2,000 plays on SoundCloud.
Well, I think you have to understand Jason Forrest, we'll get into it, but Jason Forrest was kind of a little bit of an indie darling, especially with this album. But most of his albums are like really hard to find because there are so many uncleared samples like everywhere.
Oh yeah.
So that's why it lives in SoundCloud, but it's been everywhere. This song.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe I'm seeing it through this particular lens. I mean, obviously, even this upload itself is like 10 years old. But there's one comment that is just seriously one of the best things I've ever heard. I don't know if it's like one of the best things I've ever heard, but it's like it's. In terms of good and bad things I've heard, it's like pretty far into the good right. side of that scale.
To think
How
that this is
Josiah?
It's funny that you say that because similar to me, I think I was aware of this kind of music at the time, and I was aware of like sort of glitch, IDM. I don't think I knew the term breakcore, but I've since learned that that's kind of where the specific subgenre in which this is rooted. I was aware of all this stuff, and I just like back then couldn't afford to buy all the CDs of it. So and I wasn't like, it was kind of in a mid period where I wasn't really downloading like crazy. But I was aware of it, and I remember people talking about this song, and this one was mentioned in all the reviews of this album. It's crazy to think this is from 2005. Like that feels so ahead of its time in terms of just like. Anyways, it's like, I guess what I'm trying to say is narratively, this song is so interesting on its own. It's somebody in 2005 who basically, like, breakcore itself is very harsh and loud and noisy.
Can you explain, like, because I'll be honest with you, I will, breakcore is the sort of thing that I would be like, yeah, breakcore.
Yeah, I know.
But in isolation, could not explain it to you, which makes me realize I actually don't know what it is.
It's basically just like really high BPM. It's essentially break beats and intense, like happy hardcore squished together. I think. I could be wrong. I'm definitely a poser too. My first ever music writing work paid was for Accelerator magazine, which is like such a revered electronic publication, like pre-fact, pre-resident advisor, and I totally just bullshitted my way into writing reviews for them. But so I had to like learn some things at the time, but I will forever feel like a poser in the world of electronic music, and that's what really like thrills me and excites me. It's so exciting to just like be a baby with this kind of stuff.
Oh, being a baby is amazing. I'm experiencing being the baby right now in a new medium. I'm in like chatty mode, I think, because like that's normally how this starts. Mm-hmm. So we can say that. But being full baby on a new like cultural thing is so exciting, and it obviously gets rarer the older you get.
Yeah, like I do have this. I think it's a good fear. I think it's like when a playground has sharp edges on it. I have a fear that I'm going to say the wrong artist. I'm going to say the wrong things, and some breakcore heads are going to get mad at me. I hope they do, because I hope that they're protecting themselves. They're gatekeeping themselves. But essentially, I think artists like Venetian Snares and Kid 606 are kind of like some of the precursors. And Jason Forrest was a huge breakcore guy as well. He used to make music under the name DJ Donna Summer, and it's like just like fucking insane. It's similar to like shitpost Bandcamp stuff now, where it's just like so distorted and insane and fast and crazy. And then I think what happened was Jason Forrest started like taking his knowledge of cutting and pasting things and building things, and then swerved it over to things like this song and this album, Shamelessly Exciting, which I had to get off of Soulseek this week to listen to it all the way through. It's like,
you're gonna have to share that.
Yeah,
with me,
it's just all.
Music, I need to hear the whole thing.
It's all like every song is kind of a different subgenre of rock music, where it's just this like copy and paste kind of symphony that is way less annoying than Girl Talk. But I think it's a similar kind of realm. It's like it is mashup culture, but I think it's so focused. And to me, the fact that it's from 2005 and like kind of tongue-in-cheekly thumbing his nose at what we used to call dead tooth guys, like the protectors of punk records or whatever, putting it in an electronic context is so interesting and cool. And then just kind of, so anyway, all of this is to say is the idea of this song I've known about and been interested in for many years, but I never really listened to it. Like I've listened to it 5 or 6 times in the last week. And the fact that it actually works as a song too is so cool.
Oh my God. Like, not only does it work as a song, this is where you realize, like, this is the difference between, and I honestly love, like, a good, very rudimentary just mashup, and I understand that we're talking about something very different, but ultimately, like, the layering of the samples and the repurposing of them, like, you can see where you get to Girl Talk from this, obviously.
Yeah.
By the way, why do we also pretend we don't like Girl Talk?
I mean, I just personally...
What fucking happened?
I don't know. I mean, I think it was exciting at the time, and then now it just makes me think of... Calgary music festivals. Yeah, exactly.
All right.
I don't know. This is anyways, let me answer.
Yeah,
to answer your question about, that's my best description of it.
That was really good, man. I enjoyed that journey.
But I could be wrong, and either way...
I had the Wikipedia open after I'd asked it, and I was worried that you were going to...
Were you cross-referencing, and you're making sure... I wasn't
cross-referencing, but I was skimming, and you left out the fact that it, grew out of the early... hardcore gabber scene and has a disdain for neo-Nazis.
I think I did. Gabber? I did say hardcore. I was wanting to say gabber because gabber. You
said
the
hardcore.
Coolest,
that's true.
Gabber is the coolest genre in the world.
Coolest style. Maybe I've been thinking about throwing out a lot of my clothes. Maybe I'm going to start dressing gabber.
Okay. I think you're joking, but I think you and I should spend like a weekend on Depop together, and we'll make this happen.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Awesome.
Sammy's Gabber makeover. Let's do it.
I'm just looking at Gabber pics now.
Okay. Well, I just want to say,
pull this off.
There's some other sort of, I don't know if it's pod magic or what. I mean, I've been wanting to do this for a while. It just worked out perfectly that one of my dearest friends from Calgary, Evangelist, just put out a new album this week under the name Trash Magic. It's called Power World, and I really want everyone to check it out. It's like one of those things where a friend of mine has put out something that is so sick, but they don't have a publicist. And so just everyone Google Trash Magic Power World, check it out. There's like a movie that accompanies it, and he made like fucking vibey internet soccer jerseys as merch. All of this is to say, I knew that Evangelist was a huge Jason Forrest fan, and so we're starting the episode regular before we do the Patreon part. We're switching everything up this week. I want to play. I asked Evangelist to contribute a cover because I knew he's a huge fan, and what he did is actually a perfect. We don't have to listen to the whole thing, or we can play it and talk over it, I guess. But what he actually did was he made his 35 favorite Jason Forrest songs into a mega mix. So
incredible.
So we can just put that on for a little bit and listen to it, and then maybe you'll get a sort of an understanding of what brought Jason Forrest up to this point in his career.
and all the amps couldn't take it, and now we got these amps that they're ready, they work, you know, we can really push them, and we can play it like a fire.
So,
okay, I get it.
Yeah, so it's kind of like just a scary dark net rave music, I think, is what I would imagine is how you describe it.
I feel like, yeah, I want to listen to more of that.
Exactly. Me
all
too.
The lights are also out in my house right now. I've vibed it out, and so that was all really working for me.
Yeah,
I'm going to send you, Josiah, a photo of like what I'm looking at.
It just, when you put that kind of music on, you just feel like you're hacking. You feel like you're hacking into something just by typing on the computer. You're just hacking.
I feel like I'm in, like in that moment of just like I'm in. It's the sensation of getting through the firewall.
Oh yeah, that's the perfect vibe right there that you got going on, baby.
Right, you know.
So, I mean, I guess the other thing to say about it is that there's not much else to say, really, except that it's just like literally somebody has taken punk songs that mean a lot to them and then turned them into this sort of pastiche, and it works so well.
Not to be. I have a few things that I'm curious about, and a couple of things that I felt like I noticed that again is just like makes it jump out as again not like what I would do because I'm not a good breakcore artist, you know. Like the repurposing of the like really well-known stuff, like using the Ramones, but having the like "Hey Ho" not happen where that would happen in the actual song. Like so you have the sensation of being like slightly disoriented, but also like that it really is this like completely fulsome reimagining of like the structure of those songs, like that. It doesn't have to be like 3/4, you know, like using your kind of sense memory of these songs, because if I am to take Mr. Forrest at face value, his 36 favorite punk songs are like 36 of the most popular, well-known punk songs of all time, and so you have this. Which is not, I assume, what is happening. It feels like a riff on what you were saying. Like it feels like a riff on this like Dead Tooth Guy sort of, protect punk music at all costs kind of mentality to sort of deconstruct it that way. But to sort of use the way that you understand the structure of those songs working, the way you hear in your head, like the lead from London Calling and kind of fill in the rest of a song, but to utilize them in like different places, just like rhythmically, is so interesting. Because it's not just a mashup. It's so like it's a legitimately like different angle.
It's like you're just taking
something that you're intimately familiar with.
I know. I totally agree. It's like it's just like literally stealing the power chords and then making them something new. And honestly, like the fact that it's from 2005, like I remember, because I'm fucking old, I remember this kind of music being around at the time. And I kind of just expected more music to turn out like this by now. Like, I feel like somebody should have started like a hardcore band that's just copying and pasting different instruments and even copying and pasting vocals or something. Like an actual like organic sounding hardcore band that's just Command C, Command V or something.
Oh my God.
Like there's just like,
yeah.
And that's kind of how I feel even just about the podcast every week and knowing the wild journey we're going to go on today with covers. Is just kind of like
I've got questions.
Yeah, but I guess I'm just saying like sometimes I just feel like myself included, people have not been using the internet to the full potential, and not like the fact that we have like an entire recording studio and the ability to pirate all media ever and repurpose it and do things with it. Like it's why is it only like kind of annoying Adbusters type things like Negative Land that do that? Why is there not like punk bands doing that, like, well, let's all get our shit together.
Yeah, I want like a pop punk Negative Land, which is like almost what this is.
Yeah, it's true. And I think to point to your thing, I actually don't know if he's thumbing his nose at anyone really, because I also think the way that we've talked about punk in the last, I'm trying to do the math, was 2005 16 years ago? Yeah, it was. The way we've talked about punk since then has evolved so much, and only recently has like ironic reappraisal of Warped Tour era punk happened. But in 2005, I mean, I'm sure the idea of Blink-182 or something crossing someone like Jason Forrest's radar would be kind of unheard of. Mm-hmm. So I think it is like sincere appreciation of Black Flag and the Ramones and stuff.
When you did because remember, and I know we've talked about it before, but you're like kind of pop punk mixtape that's a little bit, it's like Josiah Land, Negative Hues or something. And I don't know how to better communicate that. Uh-huh. Was that just strictly informed by like mixtape kind of like sound? Like, is that all you're trying to do there, or is it more this? Like, was that inspired a little bit by Jason
I think
Forrest
this
and that idea that you're describing?
Yeah, I can't remember if it was. I think the idea of this song implanted itself in me, in my subconscious, more than I realized, because I never had this album. I never really listened to it. But I think you're definitely right. It is something about this. I must have definitely heard it back then. Around this time, Andy Dixon from DBS and the Red Light Sting was making music as Secret Mommy and like kind of blowing up in that world of kind of glitch IDM stuff, and there was just a lot of like weird, interesting laptop music happening with punk people. And then also at the same time, he ran that label Ache Records, and he did the 7-inch series called the Divorce series, where it was like a 7-inch where one side of the record was a totally different style than the other one. The first record was Fortet doing a split with Hella. And just the idea of that blew my mind too, that like you could just kind of you don't have to do anything to do with genre. You can just put anything together and it can still be punk or something. And so I think you're right. I think I was trying to kind of maybe take a little bit of slightly highbrow intentionality to those mixtapes that I made and sort of weave a narrative. Definitely not like a mixtape in the sense of making a mixtape for a friend, but try to like weave a narrative while being very tongue-in-cheek and bratty. There's someone called DJ George Costanza too, who did like a bunch of super sick ska mixtapes and stuff. Like, I don't know, 10 years ago or something. All that kind of stuff. I love it because I think it's one of those things that even this song too, we could talk about this forever and what it means and what the intentionality is. But as we're going to hear in a second, it's just a man who loves these songs and just trying to make something kind of cool. So,
I mean, yeah, like that's the thing. It's like ultimately, this is obviously born from like a very deep and abiding love of those things. Have you shared those mixtapes recently though? Because I feel like you should maybe put those up on Patreon. Maybe.
Oh yeah, like, sure.
Or just link them around this episode.
If you just look up my name on SoundCloud,
you're gonna make people work for it.
No, I'll post them. somewhere. There's all these Hinder covers on here too. There's a few like precursor to the pod. And in fact, there's one that we'll have to revisit. Never mind. We're in the free section. I can't say anymore. But there is one that's thematically aligned with our themed month. Yeah, I don't know. I love the feeling of just that you could talk about these things forever, and ultimately it's just like a dude that was playing sick parties for people who had all over print fucking awesome hoodies or whatever, like probably just like New York 2005 dance music explosion era kind of thing. Like this is around the same time as Justice too, and that Justice album was apparently just like secretly tons of uncleared Metallica samples and stuff. I don't know. Yeah, I think maybe it's because Girl Talk is like putting it in your face, like, yeah, this is sample music or whatever, but stuff like this is just more like chill about it.
Well, it's definitely, I mean, this is not like a mashup album. Like it obviously is a different thing, but I feel like just because spiritually it is about this idea of like reimagining things that you recognize. Like obviously there's, born from related impulses. Again, this like doesn't remind me because it's more girl talky, but in the same world of like the, mouth sounds and like mouth moods, mouth dreams, Neil. And I actually realized I don't know how to pronounce his last name because I've only ever talked about him on the internet, but Neil Cicerga? Cicerga. I should have just said it.
So graceful.
How do you think you pronounce?
I don't know. I would just
Neil Cicero.
Neil.
I can only do this.
Neil Cicerega.
I can only do it so much because you can't be like racist to Italians anymore, I guess.
I think you can.
I'm trying. I'm doing my part here. Same kind of thing though, where like those aren't like like Girl Talk was like party mashups, and this is more like I think a little trollier mashups, like more in the vein of like stuff that was like what did you say that wasn't quite as bad as what I'm going to say? Where I'm going to say like weird SoundCloud and like, SoundCloud.
Well, yeah, like that kind of stuff, or just like shit posts on Bandcamp. I was talking about.
Yeah, exactly. But like the Neil Cicerega stuff is like also way more. It's not strictly shitposting because it'll be very funny, but it'll be very funny in the service of creating another fully developed pop song. If you haven't listened to those records, I legitimately think you fucking enjoy them.
I think I definitely have, but I don't remember them very well. But I remember thinking it mostly as being a joke, but it's not.
Well, it's not though, because I think like he's just kind of continued to do it. The stuff that was like wholly based around Smash Mouth is obviously just funny, but it has evolved where now it is just like this sort of here's the kind of complete history of American pop music, sort of winkingly shrunk down into another new pop song. I love it, but I found I was like putting it on sometimes, like in the car with Ashley, and she was like, "I don't know that I can just." Listen to this in silence with you,
That used to happen to me a lot when I'd put on the band that we used to talk about every week.
Right. And I was like, could you just not do that, please?
Just like, trust me, Neighborhoods is actually good.
Yeah. And so like similar, I'm like, this is actually good pop music, but it's also like deeply tongue-in-cheek, annoying internet people music.
But I think that's kind of why this song we're talking about this week feels interesting now, because I think that's precisely what we're doing. And I think people are not like fully caught. I feel like the people who aren't like deep heads of the nation know exactly everything that's going on. But like the fact that we've had 30 genuinely moving covers of a good Charlotte song called 40 Ounce Dream a couple weeks ago is like, there's something I think
preposterous.
We're in the same, we're in the same kind of uncanny, like irony, sincerity vortex as these things we're talking about. And it's exciting. Yeah. It feels wonderful to me to be here.
I would say it's my second favorite vortex, second only to the vortex at Canada's Wonderland.
Well, I don't know if it's worth. I don't even know if it's different or not. But to give you an understanding of like Jason Forrest's place, kind of in indie, he did do a Day Trotter session at the time, and he performed this song on it. But
really.
Like, I'm not sure if he was mixing it live or if he just went to Day Trotter and hit the space bar on his laptop, which, like, respect either way. But
God, it's fucking good. But yeah, I mean, how do you do this live? Not to be that kind of guitar guy, but.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that was definitely a fight that was happening in 2005. I think everyone's given up on that now. Hopefully.
Yeah. No, I'm here to pick that fight again.
Anyways, we don't need to play the whole thing, but I think it's just kind of the exact same thing. They must have just recorded the board with the laptop going through.
Yeah, it sounds a little different, but maybe it's just like there's more room. I don't know. Like, and now here's the tiny desk session, and it's.
Well, I think that if we
tinier.
I think that if we give the covers like some time to breathe, we're gonna discover more about the song and about ourselves and about this process of thinking about music. But first, and this is another thing that's different this week, we've actually got the artist here to talk about himself. So, do you want to hear Jason Forrest talk about Jason Forrest, my 36 favorite punk songs?
No.
Come on.
Okay.
I'm excited to welcome you to our show as the inaugural guest of kind of the new version of our show. So welcome to 155, Jason Forrest. How's it going?
Great. So such a pleasure to be here today.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time. So we have never had somebody on this version of our show come on to talk about the song that we're discussing. Usually it's us kind of bullshitting our way around Wikipedia and YouTube interview. So hopefully, hopefully we won't screw up any details. I guess to get started though, for people who don't know who you are, maybe what's a very brief bio of who you are?
I'm an electronic musician. I grew up like almost quasi straight edge kid in the suburbs, bored out of my mind. Was a skateboarder, got really into Public Enemy, and then tried to form bands despite having no talent. And then at some point realized that I could kind of be the whole band with a computer. So I became an electronic musician, much to my surprise. It took off. I was able to travel the world for, 13, 14 years. And so I'm super pumped to be talking about this song in particular.
That's so awesome. So like you were a straight edge kid. What kind of, what was your gateway into punk music and underground culture?
7 Seconds of Minor Threat. By far. It was just, I guess it probably came about as a result of like Thrasher magazine. And like it's kind of like skate rat stuff, there's like Agent Orange was another band, totally not one of the greatest. The Vandals, Anarchy Burger, Hold the Government, fun stuff like that.
Awesome.
But I remember like one of my most vivid memories is the day that the kid brought Bum Rush's show to the skateboard park where we were, and like said, "Hey, I want to put on this other tape," and it was just like a scene out of a movie where your like hair gets blown back, and you're like, "What's this?"
That rules. I think. To be honest with you, preparing for this, I've been going pretty deep into the Cock Rock Disco discography, and there is something very tongue-in-cheek about everything that you've done. But it sounds like, for me, that's usually a coping mechanism with trying to deal with how much I've loved Blink-182 or cheesy bands like that. But I get the impression that if you come from skateboarding and you start off straight edge, like if Agent Orange is the most embarrassing thing you were into, that's not too bad.
I don't know. Agent Orange is pretty tough. So what was interesting is Cock Rock Disco. So Cock Rock Disco is my record label. It still goes on. We actually released a record not that long ago, last year, middle of last year. And when we started, of course, someone comes to the door. When we started, we didn't really have. When we started, we really didn't. There really wasn't much for breakcore that wasn't like political and like really serious and scary. And a lot of us in the US just didn't have that as a background. Like we weren't trying to like overturn the system. We were just like, we just wanted to, and I think honestly, that's really where we came like out of punk, which was, yes, there is a kind of a political and lifestyle undercurrent, but it's really just more about culture and having fun and embracing like speed and aggressive music. And also like really giving it your shot. Like I don't want to undercut that, because like performance was like a really big part of Cock Rock Disco, a lot of the artists. And that really came straight up out of being like an American punk kid, because I remember playing shows for like 2 and 3 people and saying like, okay, well, this is the show. I've got to go for it, and that ethos, it didn't matter how big the show was, or in that case, how small the show was. Like, it's really important to do the show.
That's so rad. Something I love just in general is kind of thinking about subcultures and the ways that they're, things like gatekeeping, that's kind of a topic of debate these days. But I just kind of love the idea of, like, for example, on our show, we discuss punk in the same way that, like, maybe we'll talk about a super specific, rare, crass record, but maybe also we'll talk about punk in the way that, like, a really corny fashion designer would use the word punk or whatever. I'm curious in terms of, like, breakcore and kind of the world that you're in. I don't know how to phrase this, but is gatekeeping a thing how do you feel about gatekeeping? And for example, the flip side of the question is, are there, like, breakcore posers? Or it's kind of like, if you're involved with the music, then you're, I guess I'm just curious, like, if there's like sellouts or something, or if it's the classic punk tale in a different subgenre.
It's fascinating. I would say that people called me a sellout many times because, I played bigger shows, or not every song I had was 200 BPM, or it was funny. And that was fine. Like, I was just like, I'm not defined just by this one little one-dimensional version of what breakcore is that you have. Right. So, I mean, I would have been one of the biggest sellouts if that was a term that would have been cast. So, like, but at the same time, like, I did so much for the breakcore community, not to champion me, yay, I'm the best, but to say, like, I was very much a part of the founding of this kind of subgenre of music. Did music festivals, record labels. I mean, I put my time in. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't, certainly, you could not say that I was like a fly-by-night kind of character in the scene. As a matter of fact, I remember going to this one concert and having this guy come up to me and he was like, I don't like your music. He's drunk. He's like, I don't like your music, but I like what you do. And, I remember that. I mean, it's like 15 years ago, and I'm just some random dude in like Scotland or wherever.
Amazing. So my 36 favorite punk songs, I was always kind of aware of it because I've always been interested in this sort of misuse or use, or not in your case of misuse, but just kind of the way that the idea of punk has permeated everything and is everywhere. Tell me about this song and about your album, Shamelessly Exciting.
So the other thing that's really important to know is that punk rock music, especially when in my generation, was about inclusivity, right? It was all about breaking down barriers, racial, stereotypes, economic. I mean, like, and a lot of these bands that were gateways for me became gateways into kind of like more leftist thinking, like, Minor Threat into Fugazi is one example. So like that ideology became a core of who I am to this day. So at some point, like I was always embracing all different types of music, and Shamelessly Exciting really came about because I was like taking all these records from my past and I started to do like what I was calling subjective sampling, meaning like sampling music that really meant something to me from my life, and then trying to channel that into something that maybe would be a connection point with some of the audience. So I don't remember where I was, but I was living in Berlin at the time, and I remember something happened and there was like some punk song on, and I was like, it was like Black Flag or something like a little bit more mainstream, and I was like, Black Flag. Oh yeah. I was like, I used to listen to this all the time. And then somehow like that just started me on this path where then I pulled out all the old Minor Threat, like at that point, MP3s. And then I just started getting really into this music again. And I was like, oh, well, wouldn't it be funny if I just took all of my favorite songs and punk songs and made them into a new punk song so that it fit the format exactly of what a punk song was from a kind of compositional standard, and that's what it was. And it literally at the end, I was like, how many songs are in here? Boop, 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 36. There we go.
That's so awesome. I mean, I know you told me on email that you don't remember exactly what you sampled all 36. I can make out a few, but I'm curious if you can tell me some. Are there any like deep cuts or outliers in there?
There's like I guess it's a pretty obvious Clash sample. So I think that's probably a bit of a stretch in punk, a bit more fashionista punk. But the Bad Brains, there's like 4 or 5 different Bad Brains songs in there. There's a Dead Kennedy song, again, Minor Threat, which I keep going back to just because they have such great kind of guitar hits. There's like a few like really rare ones. Like there's it's like Pink Bertrand. So it's like a Belgian punk song that goes in there. So it's a really oblique one. There's another one I remember being like super obscure too. Oh, there was a joke. I had an acquaintance, kind of a friend, who was actually supposed to be in a lesser known punk band, and I found one of the songs that he plays bass on, and I put that in there.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I always wanted to do the part where there was a break in the song, and then one person says 1, 2, 3, 4, and so like there's that part in the middle where there's a break where that happens, and I felt like that was like super important again structurally.
Yeah, it's so classic.
Like if you've ever been to a punk concert, you're like, that's the thing that happens.
I mean, was this was obviously quite a while ago. Was this a song that people over analyzed, or do you think that people received it well? I mean, how do you feel it came across?
It was mentioned in almost every review of that album, which was probably my high. It wasn't my highest selling record, but it was definitely my most hyped record. And I certainly lived off of it and toured it forever. I still play this. This song is actually one of my most performed songs because it's so perfect for live music. Mm-hmm. I've crowd surfed during it. I remember I did the song on a party and I ran into Bjork, who was in the audience. And then one time I threw a bottle and it knocked over something and set a curtain on fire. So it's like the perfect song for like anarchy and chaos.
That's so rad. That's so awesome. Wow, that's so cool. Yeah, I mean, it definitely does pop up everywhere, and it's the one that I have remembered over all these years too. But I was listening to the whole album in preparation for this, and it's just such a it's a rock album pretty much. And I think that's kind of not what, especially listening to your whole body of work this week, it's kind of not what I would expect, but that almost feels subversive in a way to just like make a rock album.
Well, I always felt like I made rock music, but out of samples. And yes, there's all these break beats because, it's hybrid and things like that. But again, thinking about the structure and the emotions, it almost always comes out of like more aggressive rock.
Yeah.
But that's not even true though, because also there's a pretty strong current of like AM soft rock that I was sampling as well. So it's not like everything's like so super aggro.
No, I feel like it is just like a collection of the idea of rock, and then culturally since then, rock has kind of disappeared or died out. So it's kind of a one last gasp of rock via breakcore.
Which sounds perfect.
So if anyone wants to support you or check you out, or is there anything you're working on now that people should be aware of?
Kind of. I think I released Fierce City probably about 2 years ago now. I play maybe 2 or 3 times a year. I do it as a total ego surf. I go and like some kind of concert that I know it's going to be really awesome. I am actually thinking about pulling together another record soonish. The timelines are a little different. I mean, to be honest with you, and I hope this doesn't sound too arrogant, but I really achieved pretty much all my dreams as a musician, which is very rare to say and feels kind of hollow. But it was, a lark that I got to travel the world and become this figure. So I feel like nothing but just proud of the time and music and just really thankful. Like I remember thinking like almost every day, like, oh my gosh, I'm a professional musician that goes around the world playing this crazy bullshit to people. I'm like, how lucky am I? How lucky am I? And I still feel just as lucky today for having done so.
That is so cool. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you. Woo!
Wow, Josiah, that was an amazing conversation. Is it time for covers yet? That was good, right? I told you I'd handle it.
Oh my God. Sam, I gotta say, like from your TV hosting career, was this short? Would you say it's short lived or no? I actually have no idea like how much shit you did on TV.
I mean, I was on TV for less than 6 months.
Right.
And then I quit.
I have this problem where I keep joining Chad Kroger Facebook groups. Like I'm in like 6 now. And I think they're run by the same people because they cross post all the same memes. And they always do these like cool Nickelback edits when you join that say like, hey, Josiah, thanks for joining or whatever. And it's so sick. Yeah. There's like so many deep cut Nickelback photos. But my absolute dream is that one day I'll see somebody posted the video of you talking to Nickelback on the Juno's red carpet. Like that's one of the reasons I'm just kind of digging for that nugget, basically.
Do you think that like you could post, like, would that be a way for you to get like,
oh, do you have it? If you like have it, can you send it to me?
It's probably just on YouTube. If you could be like, hey, one time my best friend Sam met Nickelback.
I'll do that. If we can find the video, absolutely, I'll rip it. I'll use my YouTube ripping methods.
Let me see. I'm sure it's here.
That was during the pod.
Was this was pod, Eric?
Because you were talking about the pod and you to your co-host, and you didn't give me any credit. You stabbed me in the back.
Wow.
Oh, I found it. Yeah, I found it. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'm gonna post this.
Let me know what people think.
Should I just post I'll just post the link. Here, should I do it?
Well, I mean, feel free to rip it and just put it in a native Facebook player.
It's pretty long, though. I mean,
we play a lot of. Sorry, I've got an ad right now. I don't know how long it actually is.
It's like 7 minutes. I'm gonna rip it. I'm just gonna rip it. That's so cool. Okay, I'm gonna rip it, and I think this is the kind of thing we need to do.
Okay, but I need you to report back to me and let me know.
Well, obviously, yeah. Next, so I wanted to ask you though, should I post it? There's a couple that are just called Chad.
Okay.
Okay, while the file's ripping, I want to know, do you want me to post it in there's ones that are just called Chad, and then but I think the best group is I Have a Nickelback Problem.
Yeah,
is maybe the best one.
Because part of what's good about that video is it is the whole band, and they're all involved. Like, it is all of Nickelback playing Jenga. And so I think it's best suited for an audience that is not focused only on Chad.
Okay. Well,
I think it would benefit from people who also know like about Brian and Mike and Chris.
I don't think there's one named Brian, is there?
I just kind of guessing.
Okay, what do you want to say?
Mike and a Chris?
Hey, I thought there is a Mike for sure. I think there's a Ryan.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a Ryan. Chad. Nickelback members' names.
You don't have Facebook, right? I can't tag you.
I don't. No, you can't tag. I'm untaggable. Chad, Ryan, Mike, Daniel. Past members: Brandon,
Daniel.
Mitch, Ryan. Oh, Daniel.
How does Daniel's? I think Daniel and Ryan are really funny names for rock stars. Like they're like if you're Ryan and you're playing in a rock band, you're not supposed to ever make it. You know what I mean?
That's true. Ryan is always struggling.
Is this a sufficient? Is this a sufficient caption for you? You want to read?
Yeah, thank you. So Josiah has posted in. I have a Nickelback obsession.
I have a Nickelback problem, but then I'll show you the head. It's a private group too. So
okay,
this is the. If it happens tonight, I'll give you the update in the paywalled area of what it says. But it's the group. The full name of the group is I Have a Nickelback Problem. Well, it's not really a problem. Why is there a pile of cigarettes in this banner? I never noticed that before.
What?
Look at that.
What the fuck? That's a strange banner. So it's like got palm trees and like a lake, dandelions, and a pile of cigarette packs. Weird. So you posted, hey, I thought you might enjoy this a few years ago. My best friend Sam interviewed Nickelback for the Junos. Hell yeah, man. I hope you get some residual glow.
I hope I don't get like in trouble for stealing that video from, is it CTV or
from Facebook from stealing content from the Junos?
Who is the owner of that? Chum or something? Is Chum a thing?
Who owns the Junos? No, the Junos is like an independent, or it's owned by Karis.
Chorus,
yeah. You know what though? Sorry, that Junos was the year before we started doing the pod, I think, because it's 2016 and it's in Calgary. So I actually think that was like one of the 2 or 3 times you and I met before we started doing the pod.
Oh, yeah.
We went to the party.
Yes. Okay, so there was another one, though, where you were
Us and Aaron, yeah.
You were like just fucking talking about pop punk with Bare Naked Ladies, and then your co-host was like, oh, tell me about a podcast. And you're like, I host it. It's a podcast that I host. I created it. And
you podcast.
Anyways,
listen, sorry, man. This is like I'm telling you, like you got to understand. Like I'm making the Junos content, you're stealing it and putting it on Facebook.
It's true. And I'm going to get probably more glory than you. So.
Exactly. Yeah. No, you're the right spot in the ecosystem. Actually.
Okay, let's get into covers. It's a real mixed bag, and I do want to say if you're here because you're a member of the I Love Nickelback group, or if you're here because you're a Jason Forrest fan, in case you're not up to speed, I don't know if we explained this well enough or not, but if you want to participate in the covers, sign up for Patreon, patreon.com/155pod. They're all going to know what we're doing next month, and it's so exciting. They're going to know what to cover, and there's like a cover support group on Discord, basically, where they talk to. You can get the stems of the songs and everything. It's sick. And Sam's going to watch a movie with the Discord soon, too.
Yeah, we're going to do a movie, but then we're also doing a fucking live stream, right?
Yeah, and we're doing a stream this week as well. I mean, it's just we're never not doing this stuff.
We're never not doing this. But yeah, so the day this comes out or the day after this comes out, depending on...
on Friday of this week. Of
your financial situation. Yeah, we're streaming on Twitch. hanging, watching vids.
That's right. Just like it's basically like the Much environment, like the MTV Canada environment.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm going to bring those 6 months of broadcast.
Do you have the mic holder thing?
Oh no, I don't think I got to keep the mic flag, but I probably do have like a old mic flag from somewhere that I could scrounge up. Maybe I'll try to. I'll try to like get fully kitted out. I'll wear like a Bathory t-shirt, so like I'm really trying to spell something out for people.
So, anyways, in the Discord when we announced that we were doing this song, I kind of was taunting them, and I said, "I bet you there won't even be 10 covers this week."
And I was inclined to. This is more covers than we got of 9 Inch Nails.
But that's the thing is, people have kind of spiritually covered it in as much as there's literal covers of it, and then there's taking the idea and running with it in different ways. So
amazing.
But let's start with someone who's contributed every week is Baby Tyler, and I think Baby Tyler just straight up like actually covered this song with instruments. So
incredible.
Here's Baby Tyler.
How? That's all I have to say. How?
It's so pure. It's so pure. Oh,
I mean, it's just there's a lot. That's a lot to do.
There's still a full minute left too. I mean, that's so sick.
That was so sick.
And it makes you realize, like, I don't know. I don't even know where I'm trying to go with this, but it's just so cool how somebody copy and pasted all these ideas, and then somebody reinterpreted them with instruments, and then now it sounds like a weird like prog song, basically.
Yeah. No, just the effort to do that, and then it sort of retains this like interesting, like fun but spooky energy, sort of through those mutations is sick.
Yeah, that's so cool. Okay, so like I said, there's a bunch where people kind of interpret it in their own way. So this person who goes by the name of Charlie Frown for this one.
That's honestly quite sick, yeah.
They said it feels like a cheat since I really just tried to medley a few songs I like together, and only the first 5 seconds or so refer to the source material. Poorly, they say. Well, you know what? You named yourself Charlie Frown, so that's a good start, in my opinion. So here's Charlie Frown.
Yeah.
I also love how like demented the song title was. Three or six punk songs, what I like.
Oh man, now I'll be honest though, not getting the satisfaction of like, don't wanna know if you are lonely. Like I'm definitely just gonna go and listen to Who's Scared of You after this.
Who's scared of you?
I'm gonna get hoosed, baby.
What if your friend Neil Sisiaka did a cover of He Is Scared of You?
Yes, could you? I think it would sound a lot like this. And then imagine I had like a really good impression.
When you pronounce the name like that, you sound like one of the Twin Peaks backwards speaking people.
Niels, this is
yes, could you?
Yes, girl. Total pure Black Lodge fucking language.
All right, up next is Althea Later with... Oh, it's hard not to lisp after that. Althea Later with 36 songs I probably would have called punk in 2006. Whatever these songs are, I don't even recognize them. But it's funny to think that this is music from the year after the original Jason Forrest song. Maybe pop culture just fell apart after 2005.
Maybe it was like after Jason Forrest. Maybe many missed it, but that was it. That was the apex. Okay, but I know this. This is Motion City soundtrack.
I liked that kind of weird underwater sounding.
Oh wow! Mix. Now okay.
What?
Yeah. It just was really starting to get troubled there.
Oh well, unfortunately we don't have. We can only play a minute because you gotta wait. These will all be on Bandcamp on Monday. Everyone too. It was like riding a little long on my side and I was getting real lost. I listened to the entire I Was a Teenage Anarchist comp today, and it was insane. I felt it was so good, but also like I don't know if you should listen to the whole thing in a row.
I was like clicking through it and showing off stuff to Ashley, and she asked, she's like, "Do you think people actually like download this and just listen to it straight?" And I said, "Yes," not knowing, like sort of assuming. And good to know that one of the people that did that today was you.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I'm next.
I'm like I'll just like listen to a song or two songs on a loop for like days though. I don't think it's crazy.
Yeah, I know it kind of makes, especially it's kind of nice actually if it's just the same song over and over again. That's why this week is already disorienting. I think it's going to get more disorienting because I don't know who B Left is. Bleft. This person, whenever they submit, it like seems like a spam email to the point of even this week I had to be like, is this supposed to be a cover of this? So this is called the Play Devil 1998 medley. It's 9 minutes long. Play Devil is a reference to Globe Hell, in case any of you are not up to speed with the world's greatest.
I thought it was a reference to J Devil,
the greatest political comedy podcast on earth. Okay, here's Bleft. Okay. I respect this one for being so difficult. This is This is honestly what it does sound like in my brain most of the time. Just like a mess of octave chords and up picks and whatnot.
That in particular felt like I was taking a trip inside of Josiah.
I mean, I would love for you to take a trip inside of me.
Yeah, man. Well, you know,
you'd never ask.
One day when this pandemic's over,
there's still 8 minutes left of that one, so I'd love to. Yes. I'd love to see everyone kind of post proof of completion on Monday that you made it through that whole thing. You know what? Respect to that little shit poster sending us things. That was the best one, I think.
Like of this batch, like are you calling it already?
No, I'm saying the user blast is very disconcerting to me whenever they send us stuff, but that time around
it worked out.
It worked out really good. Okay, up next is Clown College Dropout back again. I'm already dreading this one because it's called my 6 favorite sea shanties. Really making sure that this episode does not stand the test of time.
For sure. Listen, it's a timely medium.
What shall we do with the drunken sailor early in the morning?
Oh, I mean, this is the best shanty.
It's true. Is this one of the TikTok ones? I've still never clicked any of those videos.
I've only seen the other one. I haven't heard, but maybe it is happening.
I think there was a Nickelback one today, actually. I mean, I can talk about it in my group.
Exactly. You have another group for this.
Exactly. So does this... Oh, wait, is Clown College Dropout, like... Is this original content? They're singing it, maybe. They've just added all the. Yeah. They've just added all the. I thought they had ripped the TikToks and looped them together, but I shouldn't have underestimated Clown College Dropout. Always such a great.
Yeah.
I mean, respect to the sound effects too in the background. Really felt like I was seafaring with you for a moment.
Okay, so this is a sea shanty mashup. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah. That was pretty good, actually. I stand corrected.
Come on, man. Yeah.
Fuck. Does that mean I have to click those sea shanty videos now?
No, you've experienced a much better version of. Actually, some of the videos are charming, man. But yeah,
I don't know.
You don't need it. You don't need it.
I've almost made it through this one. You know, it's like I didn't catch the cold. I may as well just wait.
It's true. I think you're right.
DRMC is back again. This Dude Ranch Means Come. I mean, it was inevitable. It was going to happen. This is my 36 favorite Blink-182 songs.
I didn't mean to deceive you. Believe when I'm with you. There's nothing I'd rather do. Don't leave me all alone. Just drop me off at home. In the car, just can't wait to pick you up on our very first date. So sorry, it's over. I think you need some time alone. Do you want to go to a party? My friends pick me up in a truck at 11:30. I wasn't born with the rich blood. Started out with plenty of nothing and on and on. Reckless abandon, something's wrong. This is gonna shock them. Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cock, sucker, motherfucker, tits, fart, turd, twat. Cause I fell in love with the...
I mean... I
miss them. Do I miss them?
I was like kind of like grumpy about it because I am genuinely annoyed by them now. And then there's a little bit of blamey in there, and I literally grinned when that happened.
Aww.
I was like pouting, and then a grin formed on my face. So
kind of as soon as it started, I was like, I love this band. I love them so much.
I do think that kind of medley is outside of the spirit of copy and pastedness, maybe, but it's still like, you know, it's still, you're still interpreting the call for submissions how you want to, and that's great, and it sounded really good. But I feel like it's missing something that is in some of the other ones in terms of sort of a jankiness, I guess is the word I'm looking for. The music
number
writer
36, though. They've nailed the number.
That's true, and this is a podcast about numbers. Up next is
yeah.
How do you say this? Dione spouse? Dione?
Yeah.
Every time, every time there's one of these names that I'm like, I don't know what the fuck this weird name is, and then I realize like a week later that it was something one of us said or something, but I don't know if it's
right. Yeah, you're like, oh man, these people are my first dog.
My first dog, Dione spouse. This one's called My 36 Favorite Dramatic Situations. The submission says it's not actually a cover. It's very different from the original. 30. Is this like going to be like theater again? Is there more of like of a fringe? I feel like Fringe Fest theater stuff is creeping into the pod now.
Oh no.
That's
You
your
know,
that's
part
your
of
fault.
responsibility
That's,
for that,
that's definitely your fault. Okay, here we go with
My people.
Dione Spouse.
My 36 favorite dramatic situations. Supplication. Deliverance. Vengeance of a crime. Vengeance taken for kin upon kin. Pursuit. Disaster. Falling prey to cruelty. Revolt. Daring enterprise. Abduction. Enigma. Obtaining. Enmity of kin. Rivalry of kin. Murderous adultery.
Oh my god. That was so
Honestly.
immersive.
So absorbed by that? Yeah.
That was wild. What the hell? Good
I want
lord.
to know all the other dramatic situations.
Yeah, I mean, in what way were those kind of dramatic situations? I guess I was a little confused.
I mean,
by
I
that.
don't know. I feel like Deliverance is a dramatic situation like that you could find yourself in. Vengeance of a crime or whatever.
It's true. Somehow I've just realized while we're doing it, you might have heard the little Apple Music sound drop. I realized that I forgot one and downloaded it, and it was in perfect alphabetical order. That's just how amazing my brain is compartmentalized to work with.
So smooth.
My sole purpose on Earth is to deal with these covers. So this is the return of Avril Lavigne. This is called My.
Wait, hold on. You got to send that to me.
Oh, I plopped it into Discord. It should be waiting for you right
Oh,
there.
shit. It's plopped. Thanks for
And you just
plopping.
I was trying to be seamless, and instead I made the plop sound, and then I talked about it, and then you asked me for it.
Yeah, I got a lot looking. Yeah, sorry, man.
Okay, here's Avril Lavigne with my one favorite punk song. Really good.
Yep. That's good. That's good stuff.
That's very good.
I'm glad you didn't lose that one.
I know, that was important. Just to
That's
make sure
funny.
that the Bandcamp crashes, too, when I try to upload it or whatever.
Totally. Yeah, I look at that. That's like the you suffer of this compilation.
Up next is Gatekeeper 155, who says, "This was tough to recreate, so I did my best at what I think Jason did on the original, featuring Big Boys, Cro-Mags, Ramones, Fear, Adolescence, Disclose, Discharge, Shit Lickers, and 28 more, I think." So let's check out a little bit of my 36 favorite punk songs from Gatekeeper 155.
One of my top 5 favorite bands. I think it's not fun for me because I'm like,
I get confused when people sample us and then we're listening to it and I can't tell.
yeah, you're like, am I talking?
Yeah, I was like, did I just talk?
talking in that moment. I started to stop the track right when I started to talk, and then I was like, wait, what am I saying?
I was like, me too. That was amazing. See, that
was fucking sick.
That's kind of what I want. That's kind of how I want to enjoy punk music too. It's just like quick
Yeah.
little. Just give me the bites, you know. Just give me some nibbles.
Just a hint of punk.
Just give me like a 100 cal small bag of punk rather than the full
Yeah.
bag. You know, just portion control. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah, kids menu punk.
exactly. All right, up next, the return of one of my favorite artists on the compilations, also on Free Punk Lyrics, Lesbian Anarchist Violence Directive, with my 36 favorite post-SoundCloud, Amen Punk, digital hardcore neo-jungleism songs. Ooh, okay. Let's go. Ooh, amazing.
Oh my God. And so there's nothing, are we, time's still running here, but I guess there's nothing else. That was fucking sick.
That was so good. See, that
was so sick.
Oh, I felt like that was scratching a part of my cranium that I don't usually get scratched, you know? Felt like a feeling on the roof of your mouth, but then all the way up to the roof of your skull, kind of.
I also think just this idea of like kind of types of music that you have enjoyed, but you never pursue in any way. And then now just kind of mainlining it is extremely pleasurable.
I agree. Yeah, we're becoming fucking. I mean, Gabber Same.
I got a turtleneck just growing into my skin right now.
But when we debut Gabber Same, I mean, it's a fucking over. That's it.
Oh my God, Gabber Sam is going to change. All right. Things are going to be different with Gabber Sam.
This is a really funny one. Up next, Moonbrains has done my 36 favorite songs from the 2016 Rolling Stones 40 Greatest Punk Albums of All Time list. And they actually... oh, man. I feel so delirious from this. There's actually, like, full-on lyrics. They've sent... I can't wait for this one in full because there's, like, a list of which song they picked from each album. But they've actually taken it and pasting it in Discord right now. They've taken it and turned it into like these. There's actual like lyrics somehow to the song from this cutting and pasting.
Oh my God!
I love that it's from Rolling Stone's 40 Greatest Punk Albums. So let's check it out. Here's Moonbrains. I guess the instrumental was a punk instrumental they had laying around already. But the lyrics are taken from all these. Now, is that what one of Maynard Keenan's other bands sounds like, kind of? Like,
is that what's... Sorry, what?
Like Pucifer or something? Is that what that's one of the other Maynard Keenan bands that is like where he's wearing a cowboy hat? Does it sound like that kind of music? Like kind of like...
I don't know, because that was
digital cowpunk, kind of?
There's no way Pucifer is good.
I don't know. They're called Pucifer, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think that maybe... Pucifer sounds like Moonbrains, but I don't think Moonbrains sounds like Pucifer.
Yeah, that's fair. Also, what I love is, so they use songs 1 to 36 because that's the number this week, the magic number. And on Rolling Stone's Greatest Punk Albums list, number 37, guess what it was?
Was it a Blank album?
Yeah, it was Enema of the State.
Sick. Damn, that's so close. Right. So close to more Blink in this episode.
Fuck Blink. Okay, I think there's going to be a lot of Blink in this next one. The person who submitted has asked not to be named for today. But it's kind of even funnier when you know who it is. But this is my 17 most legendary na-na-nas in history.
Na
I wanna make love right now, nah, nah. I wanna make love right now, nah, nah. Wish we never broke up right now, nah, nah. We need to link up right now, nah, nah. Nah, nah, nah. Nah, 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 nah. Nah, 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 yeah.
That's a good na-na.
Yeah, girl.
Don't know what that one is.
Iconic Nas. And there's like 2.5 more minutes of iconic Nas.
I think we all got to listen to this compilation start to finish. I mean,
I think that's got to be a commitment. I think getting through the Be Left Play Devil 1998 medley is going to be the test. But I think we should all try.
We should all do our best, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, up next is Trevor Impersonator with My Favorite Fucks.
Here's a platter of fun-like sounds to help make your holiday begin on a happy note.
What the fuck have you done? But tonight I'm fucking you.
Incredible fucks.
That was kind of like the spirit of the original, but then layered through like mid 2000s pop punk, but also amazing core. Like there was definitely some amazing core in there, and I loved that element added into this project. Just hearing, imagining all the bros in Bane hoodies piling onto each other to yell "fuck." It's beautiful.
Yeah, it definitely made me miss shows. Of all of these, that was the one that made me miss shows the most. It's like, imagine yelling "fuck" with bros.
Up next is Sad Computer, and the song is called I Put My 36 Favorite Punk Songs into a MIDI Converter, and This Is What Happened. Now, based on the punctuation, I'm hoping they mean they put Jason Forrest's My 36 Favorite Punk Songs into a MIDI Converter. I can't wait. Okay, let's check it out. Sad Computer.
All right.
I mean, this just straight up sounds like Radiohead.
Yeah. But is that what you think this is? Like, is this...
Yeah, I think it's like Jason's song. I can tell.
Yeah, because it's just the hits off the top. Yeah.
I hope there's some Rise Against fans listening to this and really...
All right, let's see what this podcast is all about.
I heard
it's about this, man.
Exactly.
I want to... Okay, well,
amazing.
That's art.
That was so good. I love that.
This is like... the Against Me week, I think, was amazing because it was just like a kind of a perfect pop song and a really sort of perfect theme, I think, for people to tackle. This was such a like different, and so we got these like, you know, incredibly diverse and interesting, but like all sort of just like structurally sound songs, right? And I was like, I was describing it to someone today. I was like, I think like my jaw was open for like the entire duration of last week's kind of cover section. This week I was like, there's going to be like 6, this is like, a sort of fun thing for you and I to talk about this thing you've always wanted to do. And then we're going to get into next month's big event. And instead, like, this is so interesting.
I know. I agree.
Like, the shit people are doing is so interesting.
It's kind of like it's just so outside of the box. Like, I guess I just didn't really even consider that people would take. I mean, this last one was using the source material kind of more faithfully, but I wasn't expecting people to take the call as a way to interrogate their own history of punk songs they like, or the word fuck or whatever. I mean, it's just, it's been super cool to see. And there's a couple left that I'm aware of that I'm really excited about. Up next is Skulligator and Friends, my 36 favorite punk songs. I don't have any context clues about this one, but I do appreciate that favorite is spelled with the U, the Canadian and British way. So,
respect. Yeah. Respecting your respect. Thank you.
Here we go.
I can't hear you!
The clouds enlarged and grey through the lens of his spyglass. He swung over the crow's arms and climbed on the main mast.
Unavoidable.
Anchors down, he barked at them. I found her at last. The captain quick to his rowboat and off into the dark. He paddled through the grotto.
Is this Great Big Sea?
As sharp as teeth. The currents
I don't know what this
dropped into the hollows deep. The captain bravely went where none had gone before, and found an ancient chest on the cavern's rocky shore. The latch was rusted red, and
it sounds like a
swell, but the truck was well made, and its loot was safely held.
Just
inside a house.
I mean, okay.
That was worth its weight
You're allowed.
in gold. A list of Josiah's favorite punk songs.
Whoa. Okay, so it's some sort of sea shanty about my favorite punk songs.
Incredible. All right. Yeah. See, like, what? I love it.
What? That's something we should have done, is considered what are our 36 favorite punk songs, but I don't think I'd be able to figure it out, to be honest.
I guess, Damn It.
Mine would be probably
Man Overboard.
Guilty of
Apple
Being White.
Shampoo.
Threat. Guilty of Being White. No Effects cover of Minor Threat.
I prefer Guilty of Being Right.
Right wing, or?
Exactly right.
Keeping it well in the realm of being directly about ourselves, Teen Jazz has come through with a high concept pod thing. Of course, it's 1 minute and 55 seconds long, because of course it is. This is my 65 favorite Hinder covers. This one we're going to stop explaining every time we talk about it, I think. But this is Teen Jazz's 65 favorite Hinder covers. And also, James, when he submitted it, said, I can't believe that was 7 months ago, which is kind of... Does it feel 7 months ago? Does that feel like a long time ago or not? I can't even really tell.
It feels like last week and also 2 years ago.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
That's the way time moves now, man. It's really... I look forward to having it explained to me in 10 years when this is all over.
By Neil deGrasse Tyson. Okay, here's 65 favorite Hinder covers.
Hello, this is a prepaid collect call from...
This is making me so excited to stream on Friday.
Yes.
Was not expecting to feel a sort of faint glimmer of a tear in my eye while listening to that one, but
Yeah, I was like, I remember all of that.
It makes me genuinely emotional to think about all of those Hinder covers.
Yeah.
What a world we live in.
What an innocent time in our lives and in this pandemic, you know?
Exactly. Okay, up next is, last week this person was the pop screens. This week they're the popped screens. I don't really know what to say other than they've said it's kind of a mess, but I like some of the things that happen. This is called Returning to the Return of Back to the 36 Chambers by the Popped Screens.
I think I'll be dignified.
God. Just what an amazing way to like compose music. Like I think if someone took a little bit longer with these and mapped it out a little bit with like charting maybe what keys the songs are in or something, you could come up with a really beautiful composition this way, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I also just love the idea of like these sort of like really like loaded rough ones that create the sensation of like having too many tabs open.
Yeah.
Where you're like, where's that fucking coming from? Because like you send me a link and like I got like a Bandcamp link open, but I also have like Apple Music playing.
Or they have like an article open that has a pop-up video ad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then for the longest time, that's happened to me where I'm like, damn, this shit is really out there. There's like this offbeat and some guy doing like a medicine reading or something.
Yeah.
No,
everything sounds. I like that. That's sort of like everything sounds a little like Godspeed. It's the God.
Yeah, exactly. No, that was so cool and really kind of beautiful. Let's hop to the last one on the list first. So let's do Warped Tour Archival Project. This is called My 36 Favorite Songs from the 2002 Warped Tour compilation, Lo-Fi Nightmare Core Mix. Still a bit more time.
Oh yeah, take me back.
It's funny to think about what you were saying earlier about playing all the Against Me covers for Ashley and her being like, "Do we have to listen to all these in a row, or does anyone listen to all these in a row?" Like
it wasn't a do I have?
No,
it was more
right.
of a like, what is the listening experience when you have 33 Against Me covers as a single album compilation?
Totally, and that's completely fair. But I guess I was just thinking to the next level. Once you're this deep into something and you've taken this journey, like while I was just listening to this, I was thinking, I could conceivably listen to this kind of music for an hour. And somebody might walk in and be like, what the fuck are you doing? But it's like completely normal to me to like I was enjoying that without any kind of like edginess. I wasn't like daring myself to listen to it. I was like, damn, this is cool. And it's mixed good.
What I want is to like try to work to it. Like just put it on in the background and just like see how it affects my day-to-day productivity, you know?
And then all of your like work emails are like Egyptian symbols or something. like hieroglyphics.
Yeah. It's like, oh wow, how did that happen?
All right, finally, we're gonna finish with the man, the legend, Todd Killings. This is the kind of thing I'm not going to post this publicly, but I just want to show you because it was in the Discord. I'm going to send it to you on Discord. Sorry, this is a lot of talking. What's going on? Why is it such a big file? For fuck's sake!
A lot of value.
Yeah, it's not.
But
It's just an
high
image.
value big file.
Maybe I'm just copying too big of an image to try to send it, but.
Yeah, what kind
I've crashed.
Valuable image is this?
Now I've crashed Discord. Just for like a quick little anecdote. Every time I'm trying to do things that are just like kind of quick and easy today, it's just like becoming the most.
Send it to me like on GChat, man. GChat's working fine.
I just tried and it said the image was too big, so that's what I'm just fucking.
Take a screenshot of it.
Then it's gonna have the screenshot noise, and I don't want to disrupt the pod. You know, we have such a nice flow going on.
It's true. Things are moving so.
How big
well.
of a fucking file are these images? Good Lord. Okay, now it's working. On Discord. So this is what John McClane did for the Todd Killings. This is going to close out the episode. My 36. Let me see what the actual title is to do it justice. My 36 favorite punk songs, and it's I think he just busted out his cassette machine and like made a mix of all of his friends' cassettes. Like how fucking cute and awesome is that?
Also, yeah, just like look at these tapes, man.
And then like charting it all out. It's all charted and stuff.
It's so sick.
Man,
you got to post this photo because people got to see it.
No, then go on the Discord. It's for Discord only.
Okay, okay, fine. That's post it there. Just as long as it gets posted.
It's already posted in there. So this is Todd Killings, my 36 favorite punk songs. And that's my 36 favorite punk songs.